Hi everyone, in this video we'll see the basic setup for the HFStats plugin following the Getting Started section in the documentation. And I'll start by creating a new folder called HFStats, and we'll put everything that's related to our stats in here. Now we'll start by creating a new blueprint class from the stats component class, and call it bp_stats component, and this will hold all of our stats. Now I can go to my character, in this case I'm using the third person character, and add my BP stats component to it. Now we can start creating some stats, and I will create a health system. This way we'll see how to create both complex and progress stats. So I will go back to my HFStats folder and create a new folder called stats. And I will create a new blueprint class from the complex stat class. I will call it healthmax, duplicate it, and call the other one health_regen. I will open healthmax and set its ID to healthmax, its display name to maximum health, and we'll also need to select the value sets manager, so you can either create your own or select the one provided in the content of the plugin. So I will select just this one. You can find it here actually. If you go to plugins, HFStats content, you can find the value sets manager here. So it just has a regular and multiplayer value set, which are multiplied together. So whenever I modify the value of my stat, I can choose either to modify the regular value or the multiplier. So I will do the same thing for my health_regen. So I will set the ID to health_regen and the display name to health regeneration. And I will select the VSM default value sets manager. And now we can create our health stat. So I will create a new blueprint class from the progress stat class and call it health. Same thing, I will fill the ID, so health, and the display name health also. The regeneration will be a value link to health_regen. The regeneration timer will use the stats component timer, so we need to create it. We'll call it regen timer. So I will need to go to my stats component and create the timer. It will be called regen timer with a tick rate of 0.1. The minimum will be a flat value of 0 because we don't want our health to go below 0. Our maximum will be a value link to healthmax, and that's it. So now we have our health system. Now we'll just need to load these three stats into our stats component. And for this, we'll use the default values. So I'm going to create a new folder called default values and create a data table from any SDV structure. So SDV stands for stat default values, and you can choose your structure, either minimal or advanced. And I will just select minimal for now. I will call it default values underscore minimal. Now I will just need to go to edit project settings, and in default values settings, I can select my data table. I already selected it. Okay, so now let's fill our data table. So I will just add one row called default, and I will add my stats. So I will have healthmax, health_regen, and health. Health will start at 0, this way we'll be able to see the regen. Healthmax at 100 and health_regen at 5. Now we just need to load this row from our stats component. So I will go back to my stats component and call load default values. The default values name is the name of the row from the default values data table. And so we'll use default. And so now we will load these values, but we'll actually need a way to display them on the screen. So I'm going to go back to my character. And on begin play, I will also create a widget called debug stats component. I will feed my stats component and simply add it to the viewport. I will also show the mouse cursor. Set show mouse cursor to true, like so. So now we can hit play, and we can see our health, our maximum health, and our health regeneration. We can also expand the details if you want. We can modify these values. And so this is the very basic setup, and now you can pretty easily add new stats to your setup. So for example, I could add a new stat, Constitution. I will go back to my stats, create a new stat called Constitution. Better keep things organized, so I'm gonna create a new folder called Health System and put my Health, Health Max and Health Regen in here. I will open my Constitution and fill the ID and the display name. And now I can go back to my default values. I can just add a new stat, Constitution, with a value of 12. And now if I hit play, we can see our Constitution here. We could also add a value influence. If you want our maximum health to be 10 times our Constitution, we'll just go back to our default values table, and we'll add a value influence called Health Max from Constitution. The influence stat will be Health Max, and the operation will be Constitution with curly brackets multiplied by 10. And we'll also set the Health Max value to 0. This way it will be exactly 10 times the Constitution. So now we can hit play again, and we can see our maximum health is 10 times our Constitution. And if I increase or decrease the Constitution, it's gonna reflect that. So that's it for the basic setup. I hope you enjoy the plugin, and in the next video we'll see how to create a leveling system. Bye.